Today we've got a quick review for you of the Allpowers SP037 400 watt folding solar panel here. Budget wise, if you are on a budget, there's really not much that can compete with this. I picked this thing up for 500 Canadian dollars, which is about 350 US dollars, and cost per watt, nothing comes close. Nothing touches this. So I actually picked up two of these things so I can basically chain them together for 800 watts of power. And yeah, I wanted to give you my experience on these things. I also have the 200 watt variety of Allpowers here. I wanted to show you a comparison between those two in case you're on the fence. But hopefully, depending on your needs, this video will answer which one might be best for you. And of course, show you the real world performance out of these guys. This thing is a polycrystalline panel here. It folds out into 5 panels, and it does have some width, so you're going to need a little bit of space, and it is easier to set up with 2 people. Although one person can do it easy, it can just be a little bit awkward. So yeah, here's a quick video of me setting this thing up here, and as you can see, in just about a minute or so, it's set up and ready to go. Now, alternatively, of course, that 200 watt solar panel is just a smaller, lighter version. It's easier to set up, it's easier to transport, no surprises there. So again, here's a comparison. Here's me setting up the 200 watt just for comparison reasons. Now, in terms of the overall size, obviously there's quite a big difference, but the weight is actually pretty substantial as well. The 200 watt comes in at about 14 pounds, where the 400 watt here is going to come in at just over 40 pounds. So yeah, it's a little bit heavy. I wouldn't be hiking this thing in anywhere, but for trailer camping, for, you know, throw it in your backyard, or if the power goes out or something, yeah, this thing is just a fantastic option. Now, in terms of efficiency, the 400 panel here comes in at about 22%. I believe the 200 watt comes in at about 23%. So pretty close, but don't expect miracles from these things. They are budget options made in China. But again, for the price, can you really be upset? So let's look at some real world tests, of course. Let's look first on a cloudy day, what you can expect out of these things when there's some clouds in the sky, because not every day is perfect. And yeah, where I live, most of the year is pretty much cloudy. So here's kind of what to expect on a cloudy day.
Now keep in mind that every day is going to be different. Conditions are always going to be changing. This is just kind of what to expect in the exact same conditions at the same time in this experiment. The next experiment that I wanted to test that's pretty important is the consistency between solar panels. And because I have two 400 watts, I wanted to test if they were getting the same output. So here on the same day at the same time, with almost full sun, a little bit of haze, you can see that there is a little bit of variation between the two, about 10 or 15 watts, which is not a huge deal, but of course there's going to be variances in the build, as well as the positioning and other factors.
In my experience, you're not going to get the full rated output of either of these, and that's pretty darn common from even using higher end solar panels. You're not usually going to get the max outage, but of course it does depend on where you are in the world and what time of year it is and where the sun is in the sky. There's lots of factors. But I did reach out to Allpowers in terms of what they kind of deem acceptable, and they said 70% is actually reasonable of what you can expect out of the full rated wattage out of one of these things.
But of course I do have two, so let's have a look at how they perform when I hook them up here in parallel. This is a nice sunny day with just a little bit of haze once again, and as you can see, it does pretty decent, pulling about 650 watts, which is considerably more than 70%, but a far cry from the actual 800 rated wattage.
So build quality overall for the 400 and the 200 are pretty comparable. They're not the best thing you've ever seen, but they're probably going to hold up. Again, I don't think they're waterproof. They are water resistant with a decent water resistance rating, although right on the solar panels, it does kind of warn you, keep it out of the rain. And yeah, you're probably not going to leave this thing up in the rain anyways. It doesn't really work that well when there's no sun in the sky. So yeah, just keep that in mind, guys. The build quality overall is decent, but it's not the best thing you've ever seen. So I can't speak to, you know, years and years of use. I can only speak to, you know, a couple months or so, and using this thing maybe a couple dozen times, mostly just for testing. So like many of these things, it's made of kind of a material, and it does get a little bit dirty. So just kind of keep that in mind if you're dry camping or something. Yeah, it's going to be able to pick up the dust and stuff like that, but you can probably just grab a cloth and easily wash it off. No deal breakers there. But I did find that the 400, because of the weight of it, does kind of bend a little bit. And just like the 200, if you want to check out my 200 watt video for a little bit more of an in-depth look, the same kind of clip panels to hold everything together when you fold it up are a little bit cheap for me. I don't know how long they're going to last super long term, but I also think you could probably replace those pretty easily if need be. So overall, I think these things are a fantastic budget option. And if you get them on sale like I did, I think it's an absolute no-brainer. Again, for me, for my research, nothing comes close. And for folding solar panels that are convenient, I think these things are an absolute win. So I'd completely recommend them to you. If you did like this video, guys, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, join the community. And if you wanted to pick either of these up, I will drop affiliate links down below. Thanks so much for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next one.